Hey guys, Wade here. Happy Sunday. So, a couple days ago, news comes out that they are pushing the case back again. Is that a bad thing? More importantly, does it still line up with our ISO transition? Well, guys, I've had a very interesting weekend and I've found some things that you will be interested in. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We are going to begin with the details of the decision that came out a couple days ago, guys. If you haven't heard already, SEC Ripple agreed to extend this case until 2022. The Ripple Lab executives and the SEC have mutually agreed to delay submissions and hearings until the end of 2022. Under this new schedule, the terms of the joint letter, the defense will have to file their statements in any motion against expert witness by August 2nd, while oppositions will have to be filed by November 2nd. Additionally, replies to any opposition must be filed by December 20th. Now, we're just going to ignore all the twos that we see there and just pay attention to how this is being structured. This is an agreed upon decision, and legally, yes, they have to do that in order for the process to continue. But not only is this the second time the regulator has asked for an extension, in this case, this particular extension was strictly focused on the situation that we reported on last week about the DPP, which was essentially the SEC's effort to remove some information, as they're going to describe here. The SEC wants part of the speech as well as some of Hyman's emails and documents to be excluded from the record by raising new privilege assertions. So what we have here, guys, is just another chapter in the theater of what's going on. Because when you zoom out, okay, when you take a look at the big picture, the cogs are still moving. The cogs are still moving, guys. I want to remind you, again, of another transition that is occurring right now. And it's funny that it also happens to be starting at the end of this year. What we see are examples like this. Alacrity, featured in Federal Reserve's FedNow Service Provider Showcase, which we also covered on the channel. Remember Cypherium. Also, we have stuff going on around the world. Payments Canada selects TCS as the integration lead for Real-Time Rail, Canada's real-time payment system. The details on this one, very interesting as well, especially if you're holding HBAR. Tata Consultancy Services is a leading global IT services and consulting business solutions organization as the integration lead for Canada's real-time payment system, the Real-Time Rail. TCS will help plan and orchestrate activities with industry stakeholders relating to the integration of components to the RTR and the deployment of the new system. Now, the reason why I said this was interesting, if you're holding HBAR, that is the exact same Tata that is under Tata Communications, guys. But that's not all I got for you. Let's keep moving. National Bank of Greece, Finstra, they extend their collaboration to prepare the National Bank of Greece for the ISO 2022 migration. It keeps rolling, coming back to the United States. Federal Reserve's website, another posting about ISO 20022, standardizing payment technology will lead to greater end-to-end efficiency. This we know. But guys, here's where it really starts to get interesting. KPMG and Volante Technologies launched strategic real-time payments in ISO 20022 modernization. Now, why is that so electrifying? Because Volante Technologies is a Ripple partner. As you can see here, also is very adamant in helping to shape the future of instant payments, guys. And shortly before their relationship with KPMG, Volante Technology launches services to accelerate the ISO 20022 payments modernization. On March 16, 2022, Volante Technologies, the global leader in cloud payments and financial messaging, today announced the launch of the Volante ISO 20022 service. This value-added service simplifies the complexity of ISO 20022 modernization for any organization involved in the processing of payment messages from banks and financial institutions to fintechs and payment service providers. Now we're going to zoom in on this paragraph just really quick, guys, because it also, again, ties into that CBDC report that I am still preparing. I said it was going to come today, but guys, with all of the developments, you got to give me a little more time because these payment service providers are going to play a very crucial role. Again, what we have going on, guys, is the joining together of these fintech institutions with these blockchain platforms, guys. And on top of all of that, you have to understand the dynamics of the movement of the transition. What do I mean by that? Well, I stumbled upon a 4-page letter that was written in January of this year. And funnily enough, it speaks about a certain delay in a certain program, and they want to tie it all together by November. We're talking the American Bankers Association. They plan to back the Federal Reserve's move for a single day Fedwire ISO migration. Guys, what I'm about to read to you is proof that this thing is going to happen overnight. Let's get into it. The American Bankers Association is supporting the Federal Reserve's plan to migrate the Fedwire fund services to the ISO messaging standard in a single day. Okay, supporting a Big Bang implementation strategy for the ISO migration in November of 2023. Let's just go back to it, guys. How far do they say that this case could go? Which means the case will likely continue into 2023. Let's keep moving. Now, suggesting one of 2 non-holiday weekends during the month. The association also says it is essential to ensure the move happens the same day as the clearinghouse chip service migrates to ISO 20022. What's interesting about that, guys? If we jump back over to the KPMG Volante Technologies partnership from March 29th of this year, it states, as a result, banks and payment service providers can start their real-time payments journey immediately with the clearinghouse and prepare for new instant payment schemes such as the FedNow service as they become available. So we have a Ripple partner issuing a system for real-time payments on the ISO network that will allow financial institutions to port directly into the clearinghouse transition as they make it happen, which, according to the American Bankers Association, is being moved back to 2023, late 2023. Now, continuing. Agreeing to the timeline, the ABA says banks need a detailed implementation plan as soon as possible. The board and reserve banks should issue a technology roadmap that establishes a series of key dates and milestones related to the system requirements and testing procedures. Bank resources already being pushed to the limit. The ABA is asking the Fed to consider pushing back plans to extend the operating hours of Fedwire and the National Settlement Service to help make the ISO 20022 migration its highest priority. Now, I also have another one for you guys. We have the letter that article is posted from, guys, and you know the episode guide will be filled with the gems. Now, in this letter, it is carefully detailed how they look to make this happen and why they look to make this happen. For starters, ABA supports the migration to the new message format that allows for greater detail to be associated with each payment. We believe that a well-executed implementation plan is essential for the switchover in November of 2023, and recommendations to achieve this are included in this response. So this is basically the American Bankers Association's letter to the Federal Reserve Board telling them how they plan to move about this transition, guys, and they pose a few questions. You support the single day implementation strategy? Yes, we support the single day migration as the best strategy. It was literally one sentence response. So yeah, we know this is happening overnight. Which night? Don't worry, we're going to get to that in a second. Should the reserve banks implement ISO for Fedwire in November of 2023? If you prefer a different date, please provide rationale. They say Yes, November 2023 is the preferred timeline for Fedwire to migrate to ISO. It is important to launch on the same day as CHIPS, which is the clearinghouse's payment system, the private sector wiring clearing service. Now, this next section, this is when the dates start to appear. All right. We request that 2 specific weekends in November of 2023 be considered for the transition. We recommend avoiding launching on Veterans Day weekend, as larger than expected volume would be expected on Monday. We also recommend avoiding the weekend following Thanksgiving, because larger volume is expected on Monday. With those restrictions, we recommend that the ISO migration take place over the weekend of November 3rd through the 4th of 2023. If this date needs to be pushed back for any reason, a backup weekend migration can be scheduled 2 weeks later on November 17th through the 18th of 2023. This allows 2 weeks to address any remaining issues and still meet the target launch date of November 2023. Guys, that's when all of this is going to happen. So what I showed you in this video essentially was what's going on the surface and then what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, we have a Ripple partner actively kicking on financial institutions through their protocols into this ISO transition. With this delay, it literally syncs up with the Fedwire service being kicked on, the CHIPS payment service being kicked on, and the ISO payment system, all starting at the same time. If they push it all the way, if they push any next major decisions until the end of this year, that's gonna push any final decisions until at least the spring of 2023, maybe even the summer. Okay? Now, of course, a settlement could occur at any time. We still have that. But if we're going along the timeline of events here, if they look to kick it on as close to when they make that 1-day transition in 2023, okay? Remember, they can push this thing as close to November of 2023 as they possibly can. And if that's the case, guys, then you just got the blueprint in this video. That's it. So, if you found value in all that, guys, of course you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring the notification bell, because we are going to stay on this. We are definitely going to stay on top of this. And then while you're at it, guys, of course, I got 2 very strong videos for you that explains the ISO transition as well as Ripple's position in it. While you're watching that, I want you to do a couple things for me. Have a great day. Have a prosperous day. But most importantly, if that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'll see y'all in the next one.